Hello, and happy today your way. I'm your host, Chuck Beard, coming to you from the NECAT Network PEG Studios right here in Music City, and this is Metro Arts Forging Ahead. On today's episode, we welcome three Nashville artists who you may or may not already know from their various professional titles and roles. Every episode we put together will always feature three categories of Nashville artists. One will be someone who works at a local arts organization or arts-related nonprofit. The second artist will always be an independent professional. And the final artist will be someone who is also an employee with the Metro Nashville government. The first artist to be introduced today is none other than the legend Jen-Jen Lin. Jen-Jen is the founder and director of Chinese Arts Alliance of Nashville. She is a dancer, choreographer, dance educator, drummer, and producer for starters. She teaches creative dance, Chinese drumming, and other art projects. It's so fitting that the artist to kick off our new show, new season, and new everything is the person in charge of helping us all jump into and celebrate the start of the Chinese New Year. Jen-Jen, we're truly honored to have you here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Our next featured artist, the independent professional today, is the award-winning speaker, actor, and poet who was born Rashad Rayford and who later became Rashad the Poet. Founder of his own business and movement called Elevate Your Vibe, Rashad is a creative who profoundly inspires fellow artists as much as he teaches successful business people, whether he's performing on a stage or making his promise on deliverables in and beyond the boardroom. With the personal mission to inspire teams to harness the power of their stories, drive engagement, authenticity, and success across industries, I'm so thankful all of us get to share the room with this altruistic human in between shows in the middle of his current professional run. Thanks for showing up here and for showing up every single day, Rashad.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Finally, we get to the Metro representative of today. Being a Metro employee myself, honored to serve all artists via Metro Arts, one of my favorite things recently is discovering the various local artists I either knew already or knew their work before meeting them, and then learning that they too spend time during the days and a lot of nights also serving the city of Nashville with their professional roles within the Metro Nashville government. A lot of these people I'm referring to who work in Metro do great work unrelated to or not directly impacting the arts as I am fortunate to do. But I have an even bigger smile when I see the ones who are artists and who get to spend even more time supporting local artists. This is one of those cases. She's probably already blushing over there on the table, even without me saying her name, and I'm double time smiling to introduce everyone else's biggest fan in every room she's in, the one and only Lauren Bufford. Lauren is proudly from Metro Parks, where she has worked at the Parthenon since 2005 and has carried the title and responsibilities of the Parthenon director since 2022. She has an extensive background in museums, libraries, and other cultural institutions, and values being an inclusive and welcoming department that celebrates community and wellness, even more important in this day and age. A person who works with history and the classics, Lauren is also a classic Nashvilleian who helps to make history as well. She is a volunteer DJ and one of the first faithful listeners at the most independent radio station in Music City called WXNA. Lauren, it's our pleasure to have you here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I promise this show isn't just a platform for me to hear my own voice while talking directly into a camera, but we are very close to hearing from the actual featured guest. One of my favorite things about life is knowing we are never alone, unless we choose to be alone, of course. On this show, on top of the three featured local artists, I will not only be surrounded by the amazing production crew of NECAT's finest, but I will also share this platform with two other very special humans. First, this show is going to feature a live painter who will visually document each episode on a canvas that will later be featured in the halls of NECAT, and then the final show of the season live at the Forge. I do want to say here and now that all canvases were provided by Jerry's Artorama and all paints and brushes were provided by Turnip Green Creative Reuse. Tonight's live painter is none other than Dr. Megan Jordan. She is a Southern self-taught artist and sociologist whose work blends art, social justice, and research. She uses her creative practice to tell stories, engage communities, and drive collective action for social change. Dr. Meg, thank you for capturing this moment, this conversation, and just continuing to be you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So Meg, I already know you have lots of experience doing paintings at live events. And I know we'll check in with you throughout this program, but starting with the blank canvas and the original invite and prompt to join us here today, can you talk about the process you have in mind for the gig and collaboration involving your live painting and what we can expect?
Yeah, so, well, for this month's show, the theme is new beginnings, and it's been an interesting new year, and I was like, what is symbolic of a new beginning that's hopeful? So I wanted to show a little seedling. So I did like a rough sketch of a seedling, and then as time goes on, we'll harvest from those seeds. So right now we're in a planting seeds phase, and I just want to spread that light in my work. So yeah.
Thanks, Dr. Meg. Last and certainly never the least, someone who is much more than a co-host when he's here or a special correspondent whenever he's on another set while we're filming. This is my friend Willie Sims, aka Big Fella. Big Fella is the ultimate bridge builder dedicated to fostering art, community, and connection. His passion for creating a thriving cultural ecosystem is vital to Nashville's growth and innovation. Like me, he wears many hats. Unlike me, he is not as literal with the hats. Big Fella is an entertainer, ambassador, and an entrepreneur. You may have seen him on cooking show, Cooking with Big Fella, the Hustlin' Gourmet. You may have experienced one of his many events since he founded the Nashville's official Juneteenth fireworks celebration. You may have heard his original music or seen him in the movies or television, or maybe even be familiar with his production company called Fellavision. Above all that, Big Fella is a devoted husband and father, the ultimate friend to all he loves, and someone who embodies love and purpose in every aspect of his life. Tonight, Big Fella is in the building, y'all. Thanks for being here, Big. Yeah. Just like the Nashville. That's what we do. So let's jump right into this. Before we get into the heart of the art that everyone here creates, I want to talk about what y'all do for work. So Jen-Jen, we know you are the founder and director of the Chinese Arts Alliance of Nashville. Most of us know about that organization and have experienced the impact of your work in person, but can you explain what the Chinese Arts Alliance of Nashville is and all the things that you all do for those watching today?
Okay, Chinese Arts Alliance was established almost 20 years ago. It has been a long time. And when I first moved here from Boston, and I feel that people not quite familiar with my face, they stare at me, and then I just feel I have a dance background and I have my heritage. I can combine them together and to tell my story or to make people more familiar from where I come from. And I speak English with an accent so they understand why. And then my training is in dance, so I focus on that direction. So what Chinese Arts Alliance is, mostly we do performing arts. So we have Chinese dance group, and we have contemporary group, and we have lion dance group, and we have a dragon dance. And then on top of that, we have drumming, and then we want to get familiar outreach to families, so we also do arts and crafts. So we kind of cover everything. Versatile.
Thanks for that, Jen-Jen. Rashad, you know I always appreciate respect solid wordplay and matching work with life. From Metro Arts Forging Ahead to East Side Story, elevate your vibe. If you could quickly tell us about the explanation and dive into the space between those three words and share what that means to you, that'd be great.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. Again, Elevate Your Vibe is a non-traditional speaking company that blends inspirational speaking, business talk, spoken word poetry to help companies tell more consistent and concise stories. I found out a few years ago the lack of creativity that was in corporate spaces, and so I wanted to utilize the art that I have inside of me, which is poetry and spoken word, and how could I take that into corporate America and serve them in a way that helps to solve a problem. So I go in and I help businesses see their problems and how to solve them from a creative lens, from an innovative standpoint. So I always say I'm always bringing right brain ideas into left brain spaces, and so it's been a really cool journey. So
awesome.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that in a minute. I appreciate you for that insight. Yeah. Lauren, the Parthenon. Some people who know only the building from the movies, from taking pictures outside, just like Mick Jagger. Can you talk a little bit about what the building means to you quickly?
Sure. And Mick Jagger was inside the building also, just to let you know, not just outside. For me, the building is really the epitome of Nashville. It's a fantastic museum. It's in a beautiful space, and it makes art and history really tangible to all our visitors.
And can you give us a quick insight of, are there any renovations right now, or is it closed, or?
No, it's not closed. There's some work that's being done on the exterior, but we're open regular hours.
Very cool. We are going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Big Fella is going to tell us all about the general theme of the episode, among other things, and we'll get to hear from these other featured guests about the why behind what they do in the work and art. We'll be right back. Metro Nashville Arts Commission, or Metro Arts, is the Office of Arts and Culture for the City of Nashville and Davidson County. We believe that arts drive a more vibrant and equitable community. We strive to ensure that all Nashvillians have access to a creative life through community investments, artist and organizational trainings, public art, and direct programs that involve residents in all forms of arts and culture. For more information on Metro Arts, visit us on the web at metroartsnashville.com. Welcome back to Metro Arts Forging Ahead. I'm your host, Chuck Beard. If you're just now joining us, our guests today are Jen-Jen Lin, Rashad Rayford, Lauren Bufford, Megan Jordan on the live painting, and I'm sitting next to my friend, Big Fella. The big three featured guests have shared a little insight about what they do on the clock and sometimes overtime as well. But right now, I'm going to turn things over to Big Fella and let us know more about today's theme and maybe share a little bit more about his story time in the life of Big. Big Fella, the world is yours.
Well, thanks, Chuck.
Thank you.
My man. It's a whole lot of
It's
going on.
A whole lot going on.
So new beginnings, right? I want to talk about new beginnings, and even with this show and where Nashville is right now, I think we're at a pivotal place with art, where art and commerce and culture and all of that meet. And we're gonna see what we made of, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We're about to find out what we made of. Part of the reason I was down to do this thing right here with Chuck and Kneecap is because it's like the coming together of all these different arts and artists, and from different like walks of life. People that, like you say, work at Metro and still are artists. People who are just artists with nonprofits, artists that have turned it into a business and bringing art to corporate people, all the way to Chuck with Metro Arts, even though Chuck is an artist at heart, you know what I'm saying? And it's all of the creative people coming together. So I think new beginnings for me is starting where you from, you know, or starting where you at. And I think that's where we are right now in Nashville. It's always a new beginning, and we're gonna see what the city got, you know? Can we keep our art people and keep all our creators and keep them happy? Can we keep our arts organizations together and keep the arts organizations happy, or make the people happy? You know, we're gonna find out what we made of. My story, man, I don't even want to tell my story, man. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you better ask somebody.
Google.
Yeah, no. I came here to go to school, to go to college, MTSU, long time ago. And man, it's something about a place and a city where people go to follow their dreams and chase their dreams. It got magic in it. And I fell in love with this whole area of Middle Tennessee. I was in Murfreesboro, but Nashville. I love the fact that people, you know, put it all on the line and come here and try to make it in Nashville, you know. And some do, and some just end up in Nashville, you know. So we all here, and it's like, what do you do? In the words of my homegirl, Megan Berry, it's what you do next. And that's where the new beginnings is. And we are here at the new beginning of a new show, this Metro Arts Forging Ahead. Chuck, if it wasn't for you and Cam Bam, I wouldn't even be here. Cause
Literally.
yeah, you one of the special people out here, man. You got the right spirit, man. You do. You're here for the artists. You're here for the arts. You're here for the artists. So here we go.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thanks for
man.
sharing all that, Big.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
So new beginnings, not talking about me anymore, new beginnings. We've all been there, not just at the beginning of a new year or a new chapter of life, but speaking directly to our three featured guests, each one of you have not only started chapters and jobs in life before, but each of you have created enormous foundational and I honestly think life-changing ideas that help countless others create and share their best stories. It's one thing to start a new job, and it's a totally different story to take an idea for a need in the world and make it a reality for the sake of helping others work together in one big vision. All three of you have done that and more. Jen-Jen, can you tell us about the original idea of the Chinese Arts Alliance in Nashville and how that came to you and all the things and the people that helped to make it officially happen?
Before I answer that, today is a Chinese New Year Day.
Really?
So the good beginning. So the first episode of this show is just perfect timing. Just make that note. And how do I explain a little bit how I have the idea to start a Chinese Arts Alliance of Nashville. Before that, I was the principal of Nashville Chinese School. And then it was dealing with Chinese language. And then I bring the dance into the language school. And then later I find my true heart still is on art. So I switch. I realize I have a little bit administration ability. I think I can do this. So took the risk and then go for it. Of course, there's a lot of people support and a lot of people that I admire and then ask for their advice and we started. And starting the art organization, you got to have your family support. So my husband is behind it. It's very important. And being a performing arts, we often use weekends. So it's harder for family. It's not like a Monday through Friday. We work almost every hour. So that's how I started.
Awesome. No, I love how you mentioned something about family. So I want to turn that to Rashad and about you and talk a little bit more about how Elevate Your Vibe concept came together for you, but also the backstory of how you and your life partner decided this was something that you wanted to take a leap of faith on.
Yeah, so I was actually doing a class here in Nashville, a Periscope class, a business entrepreneur class, and we all had a mentor. And you have to pitch at the end of that program. And I didn't know what I wanted to pitch about. And my mentor, we were having lunch one day, and I told him, I do this thing where I go into corporate America and I give these keynotes where I blend poetry and business talk and inspiration, and I blend it all together so you don't really know what's coming next. And he was mid-bite and he stopped, and he was just like, what are you doing? He's like, I've never heard of that in my life. He's like, you need to do that and nothing else. And sometimes when you're doing a thing and you've been doing it, because I had been doing it for like 15 years, like off and on, but I always looked at it as just like this one-off thing I'm doing over here or this one-off thing I'm doing over there. And sometimes it just takes someone else from the outside to kind of see something inside of you to say like, that's what you should do. And so from that moment it clicked, and I went home, and then me and my wife just came up with the idea, and we were like, elevate your vibe. That's what you're doing. Like, you're going into these spaces and you're elevating people when they don't expect it. And you're elevating them in a way that helps them to make their businesses better. So that's where the title came from, and this has been amazing ever since. So
you work with a bunch of not only startups but big corporations. Can you talk to is there a different energy that you tap into, or you've noticed from the different experiences, different gigs that
It's definitely always different. I think again when you go into it, again I'm a keynote speaker who comes in. I don't wear suits, and so my look from the beginning is just like, what is this guy going to get up here and say? And so it's a beautiful thing for me because I worked in high schools all across the state. So walking into a room full of 1,000 lawyers doesn't scare me. You know what I mean? And so I can go in and just have this energy of I'm supposed to be here and you all are about to get this work. And afterwards you get this, wow, I needed to hear that, or I didn't think about that from that perspective, or that story you told about this thing was just powerful. So it's just this thing where every time I go out is different, but it's always a beautiful experience because again, I know that I'm bringing something that people need, and I think that's the power that we all have, is that we all have something that somebody else needs. It's just about you tapping into it and not being afraid to take that risk. So
I appreciate that truth. And going down the line, Lauren, talking about things that you need. We talked earlier, but the 4 letters, WXNA. Can you talk about what that meant to you to become a part of that community and maybe even the first experience of being a DJ and what that entailed?
Sure. I'm old enough so that FM radio was a big part of my life, and so wherever I lived, I always listened to independent radio or college radio. When I moved to Nashville, Vanderbilt still had their station, WRVU, and I was a really super devoted listener. I loved that station so much. And when the college decided that they were going to make a different decision, and I think it's still available, but it's online only, it basically, folded, and all these independent DJs who are still around in Nashville, a lot of them kind of were out of a gig. So it took them, I think, about 7 years to form WXNA, and I was not there at the start, but I was super excited. I was a big listener, and I was just telling you this, that I got, I was on their mailing list, and they sent something out about people volunteering to become a DJ, and it was a really low time in my life, and I was really unhappy, and I felt very stuck creatively, and so I was kind of forcing myself to do things that I was really afraid of, and I thought, I'm going to apply for this. And I was pretty much fearful the whole time. I was older than everybody. I'd never been in a studio before. I didn't know what the board was. But, they trained me, and then they gave me an hour, and then they gave me 2 hours on a really good day at a really good time. And yeah, it's been such an amazing experience because it is so community-based. It's all volunteer. There's nothing corporate about it. It's just people on the air playing music that they really love. And what a fantastic experience. So much fun.
Thank you so much, Laura. Big fella, before we move to another segment, do you have anything that just caught your mind with anything they said just on the spot that connected with you? And you can say everything.
Really, I think it's all cool, man. It just shows you how you just gotta do what's on your heart to do. I love how Rashad turned what he does into what he does, and it does take somebody from the outside looking in sometimes to assess your situation because you're so deep in it.
Right.
Like you just do it like it's nothing.
Right.
And the things that we do that's nothing sometimes be super powerful, but you wouldn't call it yourself. Somebody else got to be like, hey man, do that again.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's super cool, man.
Especially when you're in the trenches, it's hard to see the perspective.
Yeah, you're not paying no attention. You're just keeping it going, keeping it moving.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Big. Once again, we are going to take a quick break here on Metro Arts Forging Ahead, and when we come back, we're going to hear more from today's Big Three guests about the art they did do off and around the clock from their work. Please stay tuned.
The Forge Nashville mission is to give more people affordable access to the professional tools, space, and support they need to succeed as a maker and artist, and to provide new opportunities to youth and underserved communities. Welcoming beginners, passionate creators, and aspiring entrepreneurs, The Forge changes lives. The Forge has a place for everyone. Whether you're looking for a full table in a shop, a community co-working space, or just want to support Nashville's makers. To find out more, visit us online at theforgenashville.org. The Forge Nashville. Meet your makers.
Did you know Metro Arts and Nashville Public Library have a free lending library? Library card holders can choose from a selection of artworks by local Nashville artists and borrow for up to 3 months. The collection includes framed paintings, photographs, and mixed media. After 3 months, bring the artwork back and borrow a different piece. Available at Donaldson, East, Green Hills, Hermitage, Madison, Old Hickory, and Southeast branches of Nashville Public Library. For more information and to browse the collection online, please visit library.nashville.gov.
All right, welcome back to Metro Arts Forging Ahead. I'm your host, Chuck Beard, in conversation with a few Nashville artists who inspire me and many others in the city. We've been talking about their love and the lessons of new beginnings professionally and creatively, and I'd love to take a moment to check in with our resident painter of the day, Dr. Megan Jordan. Dr. Meg, how are you feeling and what's on your mind over there?
I am feeling great, very excited. I've been whipping out the colors. Just painting some leaves over here, some hopeful vibes of like seedlings sprouting into hopefully what will be a fruitful year, but we'll see.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Meg. We'll definitely check back in with you soon. I want to start now where we left off before the recent breaks with our Big Three conversation and ask Lauren for more. Lauren, you are the director of the Parthenon and also a volunteer DJ for WXNA. Facts. Also facts, the mission of WXNA is that it's a free-form, listener-supported radio station created for and by the community to provide diverse and innovative programming that reflects the music, culture, concerns, and interests of Nashville and the surrounding areas. The Parthenon's mission is to share the artistic and educational ideas of Nashville by connecting people of all ages and art, architecture, and history. Can you give me the first thoughts that come to your mind when you think of the similarities between the two organizations and maybe even the role that you play in both?
Sure. I think the thing that is really unique about the Parthenon is that it is part of Metro Parks, which is all about people's wellness, physical wellness, mental health, providing a place to go with family, a respite for people. And I think that that mission that Parks has is part and parcel of what we do at the Parthenon every day. We're an extremely accessible museum for all Nashvillians and actually for people all over the world who come and visit us. And we are and for the community. And the radio station is the same. And so I feel like they really are two parts of the same thing that I'm doing every day.
What is, like, quickly, what is like where do you see a dream for both as they move forward?
For the radio station, I'd say more listeners and more members because we're completely community supported. For the Parthenon, my big dream is better bathrooms. If you've been in the Parthenon, you've used our bathrooms, you know we need an improved public space. So
People will
different
listen.
entrance.
People will listen to this.
People listen to this.
Thanks, Lauren. For the people.
For the
Lauren.
better bathrooms for the people.
For the
That's
people.
what
Rashad, I first met you a long time ago when witnessing the amazing work you do with Southern Word. Again, some people have heard about Southern Word and others have yet to experience that life-changing experience. Can you speak about how that work, the relationships, lessons learned, or even a core memory you've received from working with youth and spoken word?
Yeah, so Southern Word is it's a nonprofit based here in town. It's been around about 16 years now, something like that. And the core of it is going into schools helping youth with literacy. So helping literacy using the power of poetry and spoken word. We're in several counties all over the state of Tennessee. And the one thing I love the most is, being able to go in and see young people find their voice. I look back and think back to when I was in high school and just, wishing I would have had someone come in and facilitate an opportunity for us during class for us to write and they not just come once, but come 3 or 4 or 5 times to really help us understand like the power that we have. And I think like that's one of the main things we help young people do is unlock that power to just know that like you're enough and you're on a journey, and wherever you are in that journey, it's okay to be where you are, and it's been a really great thing. And I guess one of the main things, one of the recurring lessons that I find that I'm inspired by is when you have those students who are kind of sitting in the back or their head is down and the teacher's kind of like, well, don't worry, this person's not going to participate. And I've been doing it long enough to know that it's like, okay, I got you. And then by the end of class, the person is like writing very secretively, and the next class they're like asking questions and I'll read mine, and then by the end like they're reading and sharing, and you have a whole classroom full of folks who are sharing and reading, and the teacher's reading and the teacher's crying, and then the teacher's now like, oh, I didn't know this about this particular student. Now I understand like why they act how they act, or why our relationship is how it is, and you create this space where now we can leave. But now the ground has been set, so now the classroom is totally different, and it's because people have been authentic and been open and shared things about themselves. And that's the beauty of poetry and the beauty of spoken word, is that it allows your voice to be heard in a way where you may not normally be able to just say, hey, this is how I feel, but you can write that and then explain that, and then we can have a conversation. So it's really cool, man.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Jen-Jen, speaking of the power of youth and getting into the arts, I've never been to Taiwan yet, so I'm very intrigued to know how creativity was shared and taught in the area you grew up in, and what kind of inspired you to get into the arts in that area.
Yeah, I like sports. I like to move my body. I like arts. Actually, I want to be a painter, but it did not work out that way.
You still have time.
And then, and I was, I like to try different things. And then I was an ice skater, and I wasn't so graceful enough, so I went to take dance class. But instead of keeping on to the ice skating, I keep dancing. And of course, I met a very important mentor there. And then I remember she's so perfectionistic. And then 1 8 count, we can practice for 8 days or continue say, very good, let's do it again. So I kind of received that kind of mentality, try to be positive, and yet still a lot of discipline on my training. And after that, I also have Chinese dance training in the opera school, and I'm very lucky to have that. It's not every Chinese. If you don't learn Chinese dance, you don't know Chinese dance, even you are Chinese. So I have a opportunity to learn that. And then back then, modern dance is very forward. I'm kind of running in the front. So I've gone through Marcel Graham and Alvin Ailey, Merce Cunningham, all those kind of modern dance. Now it's a contemporary dance. It's a little bit different. So that's somehow the destiny kind of took me there, of course, because I like it. I like the challenge. I like the risk. And I continue to come to U.S. and say, if I want to continue this dance as a career, I need more training. And where is the modern dance back then? Germany and U.S. I think English is slightly easier than German, so I come to U.S.
Well, we're better for it too. Thanks, Jen-Jen. Rashad, I want to go back to you. I'd like to ask you and Big Fella, two people who are enormously successful and prolific with everything y'all do, acting, music, writing, teaching, everything. Rashad first, and then Big, y'all just jump in. But I'd like to know how each of you find personal satisfaction and balance in creating at such a high level in so many different mediums, and finding balance with not only that, but family life and personal and creative goals. Yeah, can you speak to that?
Yeah, I think, it was a time when I used to, people, there's the saying, right? Jack of all trades, but a master of none. And I think for a long time, I kind of leaned into that, like that mentality. But like maybe about 10 years ago, I was like jack of all trades and a master of some. That's how I kind of flipped it, because it was like, you can do a lot of great things at a high level. And then you start to realize like maybe everybody doesn't do that. And so that's why they say that, because they're not used to doing those things. And then you start seeing other folks. Like I would see Big Fella on TV and I'd be like, oh, up. Then I see him acting, then I see him rapping, and he's doing it all at a high level. So I'm like, okay, it's ways in which we can do this. So I'm just around the wrong people. So I think like being around the right people is important. And that starts with family for me. My wife is my rock, and my children, I have 4 children. And so like everything emanates from them. And because they are their rock, it gives me that strength and that power to be able to go and do the things that I need to do. So I think like that's where it starts. So for sure.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. We talked about. Well, actually, you didn't even talk about it. Can you talk a little bit about the movie that you were just in? Because I was going to say Nashville Dad's Club is like something that's blew up a couple of years ago, and you're on the acting wise. Can y'all speak to the local film community and how that helps you strive to do what you do?
Man, the local film community is cool. Nashville, I think Nashville has a super dope, just creative community in general. So like the film and the acting community here, I think we got one of the best acting communities, period. Like we don't have as much work for the actors here. They gotta go to Atlanta or LA or wherever else to go work, but they live and learn here. We got a dope acting community, acting, what do they call it? Like acting schools, Fourth Wall, Third Coast, there's a couple of them. I can't think of the name, but I just love being around dope, creative people. It's nothing like it. That's why I like being over at the Forge, because there's so many different mediums, so many different types of creativities, and it all comes from the same place. you know. But to answer the question, talking about how you balance it all with family, and I really don't know, man. I think you just kind of do it, and your people. So my wife, I've been with my wife so long, and she know what I do and how I do it, and she believe in me. You know, you gotta have people that believe in you, and that'll help you get to places that you wouldn't normally be able to go if you got people that believe in you. So that's it, man. You gotta be around people that believe in you, be around dope creative people, and keep going if it's in you.
Yep.
You know, that's one thing I like about even with music and stuff. It's like it's gonna weed you out. If you weren't born to do it, this stuff will beat you up and kick you out. And only the crazy people are left around. The people that are crazy enough that can't help it. It's like having a drug habit that you just can't do nothing about. You were born to do that. And then once you get to that point, that's just what you do. You know, it don't even matter. You got to kind of build your life around it. You know, it's like a terrible addiction. Yep, he giving us that finger back there,
He
man,
is,
that
isn't he?
magical
I know.
finger.
Yeah, but
That didn't sound good. Keep your magical finger, man. You gotta keep your magical finger over there.
It was a one. It was a one. Well, thanks for sharing that, Rashad. I believe.
But he swirled it around. Though.
It was magic.
I wanted to say no diddy. I wanted to say no diddy.
No diggity. So we need to take one more quick break here at Metro Arts Forging Ahead before our final segment. Thank you for sticking with us. Magic finger and all. We'll be right back.
Nasty finger.
Nasty.
What's kneecap?
A place for anyone.
Sure. NECAT Network.
That's Nashville Education, Community, and Arts Television.
Everyone knows that.
But did they know that NECAT runs 3 television stations that serve counties all over Middle Tennessee?
We know that! But what a lot of people don't know is that NECAT is also an active community partner.
That's right. We more than a television network. We love Nashville, and we love supporting as many organizations any way we can.
From Friends Life to Nashville Predators Foundation, NECAT provides studio access and training to help community organizations. So when you think of NECAT,
remember, we're way more than a television station.
We're Nashville.
Thank you, Predators!
Suppose for just a moment you were Nashville's government. You have a bit of money and you want some to be spent. And keeping Nashville beautiful's a priority for you. You want to help your people out too. What would you do? You could start a Metro Arts. 15 citizens on a commission. Art is what they know. Them and 5 committees decide where the money goes. And dedicated staff to see that all the work gets done, making Nashville better for everyone. You could start a Metro Arts. Public art and grants would each play a part. Occasionally embroiled in scandal, but it's nothing you can't handle. You should start a Metro Arts.
Bless your heart, Ellen Angelico. Welcome back to Metro Arts Forging Ahead. Again, I'm your host, Chuck Beard. Today we've had a big time learning from Jen-Jen Lin, Rashad Rayford, Lauren Bufford, Big Fella, and Megan Jordan. In the last segment, we heard a little bit more about why each of our featured guests love their respective favorite art forms and what they do. I say, how good is any show really without a little game thrown into the mix? We will call this portion of the show Quick Recall. The whole thing is going to be me asking questions, and then I will call the name of anyone up here who will then give the first answer they can think of while keeping their answer under 30 seconds. The only other rule for the answer is that it has to be honest and from the heart. Remember, there are no wrong answers. Is everyone ready? Silence is a yes.
I guess so.
Yes. Okay, so let's begin. Remember, there are no wrong answers. First, well, Rashad and then Jen-Jen's going to answer this second. When did you decide to move to Nashville or to call it home?
Easy. Been here, born and raised, Nashville native. Next.
Why do you still call it home?
Man, it's the heartbeat, man. It's the place where my roots are. It's the place where I find love and peace, and I'm able to thrive. I can work anywhere else in the world, but like I gotta live here. This is home. So, yeah.
Awesome. Jen-Jen, your answer.
I came here because my husband moved here, and I believe in. I mean, even I'm artist, I can do whatever I want, but I feel family is the backbone of our lives, and it's important. Children are important. Husband is important. Family is important. Friends is important. Community is important. That's why I'm here. I'm still here. My children are raised here, so I'm Nashvilleian too.
That's right.
Okay, Big, you're first, then Lauren second. Why do you stay in Nashville right now to do what you do?
I don't know, man. Something magical about it. I like Nashville. I like the creative people here. I like the problems here. I like the clash of being a blue city in the red, or the blue dot in the red water, or whatever they call it. I like all the old colonial problems meeting all of this futuristic money and all of the amazing historical blackness that happened here, clashing with all of these people coming from everywhere. I just like it all, man. It's pretty cool. We're gonna see what the city's made of, and I'm here for it, man. I think it's the city of the 20s, so.
Awesome. Lauren?
I don't feel like I'm done yet. You know, I feel like there's still ways that the Parthenon can reach out and connect more, widen our vision, widen our scope, more exhibits, bring new things to the people who live here. And we're really trying hard to connect to locals and not just be a place that maybe you bring visitors, but we really are striving to be Nashville's museum and Nashville's park. So I just don't feel like I'm quite there yet, and I want to keep working on that.
Great answer.
What about you, Chuck?
Why do I stay here?
You're asking all these questions.
I know. I can answer one. It's my wife. If she wants to be here, I'm going to be right by her.
Okay, that was a good answer.
I mean,
All right.
there was,
That's
yeah.
fair
But it was like I was on a job interview a few years ago, and they asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I said, beside my wife. I don't know where that is. Is that a wrong answer?
Oh, you ain't nothing but a player.
Okay.
I'll see you.
Next question. This is going to be for everybody, okay? This is a little bit thrown off. We're going back to the family. We're going to start here at Big and then go down to Lauren and then Rashad and then Jen-Jen. What is the best lesson you've learned from your parents, good or bad?
Oh, I got to go first?
Yeah, take it.
Oh, man.
Just whatever comes to mind first.
I learned
The best
from my
lesson.
parents?
Yeah.
I got two.
Okay.
One of them is, there's more room out in the world than it is inside of you, so get it out. And the other one is, I don't want to go to the next person. I'm going to come over there.
Lauren, you got it?
Yeah, both my parents changed their careers as adults. When my brother and I were, almost grown, I was in junior high, and I think my brother was in elementary school. They both went back to school, and they both radically changed the direction of their careers. And I think what it made me feel was that you could reinvent yourself, that the path that you were on could change, and it could even happen when you were an adult.
Mine is really similar. I came home as a junior from college, and I told my parents I was an engineering major. And I came home and said, I want to be a poet. And they said, okay.
Yeah.
And it was in that moment that it just gave me this understanding of fearlessness. And so I'm where I am now because they didn't reject that. Because if they had said, well, stuff we can't say on TV, I might be doing a job that I would be in a job right now. But I came home and they said do it, and so like just that taught me to be fearless in that moment. So it's one of the biggest lessons. Yeah.
Well, I came to the United States after my father passed away. And maybe that was part of the reason I want to leave Taiwan, because it's too sad. I was too young. And my mother, I was pretty kind of just let my mother alone to deal with. I just say I need to get out of Taiwan. But that's just a lot of reason for me to come to the United States. And that's not the only reason, but my father never know what I do. And then my mother, I don't think she understands too. She's in Taiwan, but what the good lesson for my mom is she always kind of welcome. I visited Taiwan pretty often. I took my kids over there because I want them to be in touch with our heritage. And so my mother provided a very good home when we go to Taiwan. So even my mother still doesn't, my mom passed away last year too. So she did not understand what I do, but she just said, oh, Jen-Jen is on the newspaper. I think it must be good. So.
And now you're on TV?
Yeah. Yeah, now it's on TV.
Coming back in this direction, reverse of answering, starting with Jen-Jen, first, can you explain what the year of the snake is that we should look into or know about for this year?
Well, snake, actually, here in the United States, snake kind of not creepy and not as good, but snake in Chinese culture also nicknamed as a little dragon. You also know dragon is not the same as a Western dragon. So dragon is a very sacred creature for Chinese culture. It's all good. And then snake is quiet, intelligent, and then they shed their snake. So it's a year of becoming or developing or, what you want to change, and then so it's a good year for a snake. And then people born on the snake in the snake years, they tend to be very social and popular. So anyone sign of snake?
Thank you all for your honesty and for having a little fun with me. Now I'd like to check back in with Dr. Meg about her current painting. I know it's not finished, but we'd love to hear where it is and where it's going. Dr. Meg, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great over here. A lot has been covered, literally and figuratively. So yeah, I'm painting like a ceiling in the ground. The hands are in development right now. The fruit is vibrant. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about where this is going and excited to share it with y'all at another time. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Meg. It looks fantastic, especially for those who are listening to the show and not seeing what we can see. This is where I need to remind everyone that you can see the finished product in the halls here at NECAT Network from the time we finish recording until the live show and exhibition at the Forge Nashville in December of 2025. Dr. Meg, one last thing, where can others find your work in person and online right now?
In person, I have a show at the Arcade for February. It's a women's empowerment show, so come see me there on the second floor in Suite 57. And you can find me online at megjoart.com or Instagram at megojojo.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Meg. Jen-Jen, if everybody could go ahead and say what you're excited about this next week and month, and whatever you want to plug and where we can find your work.
Yes, this is a Chinese New Year season. We are having a Lunar New Year concert at the Nashville Symphony, and then I choreographed 3 pieces, and that will be performed with the Nashville Symphony. That's quite exciting. And then we have a Chinese New Year celebration at the Musician Corner in Centennial Park, Metro Park, Metro government support. And then it will be exciting. We got a public truck coming, and we have music, singing, and lion dance and dragon. and food truck, Asian food trucks. And so will be very exciting and free to everybody. It's free admission. With the support with so many funders like Nissan Foundation, Tennessee Art Commission, Metro Art Commission, and the public as well.
And if they were wanting to find you online, where would they be able to look and find the information?
ChineseArtsAlliance.org, very easy. All the events are there.
Awesome. How about you, Rashad?
You can find me online at rashadthepoet.com or on Instagram at elevateyourvibe_. You can catch me at TPAC February 14th through the 23rd. I'll be playing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the play The Mountaintop. That'll be tickets at NashvilleRep.org.
Thank you so much. I already got my tickets. Lauren, what about you?
Parthenon's open 7 days a week. WXNA broadcasts 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. If you are looking for information on the Parthenon, it's NashvilleParthenon.com, and it's WXNAFM.org.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, big fella, can you tell us about the movie you were just in that was released and where they can catch you this month?
You can find me, man. Go to fellavision.com or Juneteenth615.com. But really, I can't believe we don't have a Nashville scene in here right now with Rashad on the cover. Rashad is on the cover of the scene looking like Milk Jr.
Causing the scene, he is the scene.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can always come catch me. I'll be at the Forge, so pop in on us at the Forge, man. You can come catch me over there.
Willow.
Yeah, 217 Willow Street.
That's about all the time we have today for Metro Arts Forging Ahead, Episode 1. Thanks to everyone on the show, everyone listening and watching to this show, everyone at NECAT, Cameron, Eric, Sam, and more behind the camera, everyone smiling in the live audience, NECAT Network, the Nashville Public Library, Fellavision, Metro Arts, WXNA, Metro Parks, the Parthenon, Elevate Your Vibe. I sound like that guy from like the Micro Machines in the 80s, don't I right now? Turnip Green, Creative Reuse, Jerry's Artorama, and the Chinese Art Alliance of Nashville. This being the first show, everything is a new beginning and tradition. So we're going to end every Metro Arts Forging Ahead episode of the season with the final word, as it should be, from one of our featured artists. Before he does what he do, I want to say this past year with Metro Arts has been a wild ride, certainly, but wanted to sincerely thank you for tuning in here today and for staying tuned for more great stuff soon. Handing the curtain call to Rashad the Poet with his final words of the day. One last time, my name is Chuck Beard, and I hope you're feeling better about your Nashville world after listening to some of the creative friends we have and seeing how they are making Nashville and the world a more beautiful place. Rashad, please show your power.
You ever seen a new beginning? A space where you take a seed that's been planted in the dirt. This is work. It's time in the making. Looks like a V that we're sitting at, but we're not flying off, we're just waiting patiently. This is art in motion. This is NECAT TV, something for you to see. Can you see 3 oranges on a tree? They didn't just come from anywhere. They came from deep in the dirt. It was putting in work. And it was forging ahead. Sometimes the fire can be hot, but you know when you come out on the other side, well, you're gonna be gold. So hang on and stay true. This is just episode 1. It's more coming true, and it's more that's coming through. This is what we do when we forge ahead together.